Alright guys, welcome to DominateDominion number 63. It's the one, the only L3 IRD, the bird getting in some words for today's matchup. We're having today, it's ExiledTerror on the blue side, Team Vengeance 0. 0 on the purple/red side. It's L3 IRD with the one, the only, yes man, Kablam. Hello man, dude, how are you doing? YMK, how's it been, and what do you think about these two teams overall?
It's going great. I'm really excited to be casting the tournament tonight. I'm here to provide you with all the useless analysis that we are used to for our Dominion tournaments. We've already gone through chat bans before we went live. The bans in order were Renekton, Rammus, Jax, and Talon, and now we're going through the normal ban process. So do we want to wait until all the bans are up, or should I start talking about the ban choices right now?
You can start talking about the band choices, and then we'll go as we go. Really quickly as well, we do have summer blockers just in case, so that people can't stream and cheat. Unfortunately, you know, getting that extra edge, maybe getting another revive in there or not getting a revive could be breaking meta. So we don't want to give you guys the advantage. We don't want to give them the advantage as well. So we'll keep it all live for you on here. And yeah, what's good in the bans? What do you think about these bans? Truthfully, it's been a bit for me casting DominateDominion. Renekton, Rammus, they come back into the fray as bannable characters. That's really interesting.
In my opinion, not really. Renekton is a character typically not really worth picking in a tournament situation. He is a viable bottom lane as kind of a bully, tanky bruiser, but if you take him up top, he's kind of ineffective. His scaling isn't very hot, and he's just kind of a fat wall, but there are better characters to accomplish that. So a Renekton ban is not an optimal ban, unfortunately. Rammus is a strong character, however, in my personal opinion, he's not quite worth banning. He's probably just under banning. He's definitely a character you will pick often because he's very strong. I like to think of Rammus as a mobile defense platform. Anywhere Rammus needs to be, he's going to be there, and he's got some strong CC. He's got some good AoE damage, but he's not quite good enough for a ban, in my opinion. And then let's see, the last two chat bans were Jax and Talon. I would probably put them in the same place as Rammus, characters you would pick, but not quite good enough to ban. Jax, he does a lot of damage. He's very good at evading damage due to his Counter-Strike. So if you go in too early on him, he'll activate Counter-Strike, avoid a lot of damage, and then stun your whole team. So that's a problem. But you know, there's a lot of items: Warden's Mail, Frozen Heart. He can be very susceptible to AP Burst, and Malphite is a character that is very good at dealing with Jax. So not quite ban-worthy, though he is generally a top pick. And Talon, assassins in general are very strong on Dominion. Talon is one of the stronger ones, but again, not quite worth a ban. As far as assassins go, Kassadin and Kha'Zix are definitely stronger, and because those guys usually get pieced out, Talon is kind of a leftover, saying, oh, well, he's the next best thing. And he's very strong. He's got an invisibility on his ultimate. He's got very high AoE burst damage. He's got a silence and a gap closer, so it's very difficult to deal with him depending on the matchup. So he's very strong, not quite ban-worthy, but it would be worth a targeted ban if you knew someone else on the other team was very strong at Talon, and there are a lot of those in Dominion tournaments, so that could be a worthwhile ban depending on who's playing what. But with these two new teams, I don't actually know if there are any particular character specialists on either of these lineups, so it's a good ban. It's not optimal, but it's a decent ban.
Yeah,
so,
sorry, go ahead.
Yep. All right,
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run down the rest of the bans.
Okay.
By side, I'm not going to go in order because it's just easier to read down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so blue team has banned Ziggs. I'm also not quite sure what's going on with that one either. Ziggs is not a terrible character. Down bottom, he is very safe. He can farm from very long range. And his ult with its long range gives him global presence no matter where he is. Unfortunately, he's if you jump on top of him, he's probably going to die. And as far as poke mages go, there are much safer options, like, off the top of my head, Ahri. If you jump on top of her, she can probably escape. So Ziggs has good damage output, he's got some area control with his mines, and he's got long-range presence with his ultimate, but not really worth a ban. Teemo, strong character. Again, I'm gonna put him in the tier with, say, Jax Talon, that he's worth a ban if you know someone on the other team specializes in him. But other than that, and he would be a top pick, but he's not really worth a ban if you don't know the other team going in. Like, I'm sure these two teams, this is the first time they've ever played. Because his mushrooms give him global pretty much give him jungle control for free. And while some players do think that you can counter him with a single item, either Hextech Sweeper or Aggressive Spectral Lantern, a lot of people forget that the trap reveal range on those items is like 100. You know, if you're not paying attention, by the time the thing shows up on your map, you've already walked over it. And he's got a blind, he's got a poison, so he's got good damage output, good damage control. But if your team is smart, they buy you the right items, and they adjust their play style to deal with him, Teemo is not a high priority ban in my opinion, unless there's a specialist. But he's still a very strong character, so that's still a good ban. Cho'Gath, as a last ban, is another weak ban. He's considered one of the weakest characters in Dominion. In bottom lane, he can be functional. He's got a lot of pushing power with his Scream, his Stomp, and his Spikes. But his ultimate is extremely weak, because Dominion is a mode where you're kind of expected to die, so he has a lot of difficulty maintaining speed stacks. And if you send him up top, because of the abundance of speed shrines, hitting his Stomp is an absolute nightmare, especially in those areas that become highly contested when everyone has a move speed buff. His Scream is still good, and he's still got some AoE presence, but if you miss his skills, then you're kind of waiting around for 8 seconds, not doing much of anything. So he's really on the weak side. That's a questionable ban from Team Blue. Now, Team Purple, Kassadin ban right away. That shows us Purple Team did some homework. Kassadin, #1 character on Dominion, hands down. His ultimate lets him hop over every single wall in the map, including out of spawn, you know, that gigantic crescent moon shape. He can hop over that too. And with a silence that lasts 2 seconds and an AoE slow, all of them have really high base damage. And with Kassadin's ability to circumvent normal pathing, Kassadin has unparalleled ability to dictate engagements. He can hop over any wall, he will hit you with all the CC he has, and you don't really have any response to it because you're silenced, so you can't cast a spell, you're slowed, you can't really walk up to him, and then he'll just hop over another wall to leave, or he'll just finish killing you. Darius is a character that used to be really popular in Dominion, back when his ultimate always refreshed on a kill. He's still a decent character, but ever since they changed it so his ultimate has a real cooldown, I think it's, a 12-second window to refresh, and then it goes on normal cooldown.
Right.
He still does a lot of damage. Decimate, he's got passive armor penetration, he can pull you. But without the ultimate on demand pretty much always, that does hamstring his damage output a lot. And his gap closer, the pull, Apprehension, does have a really long cooldown. So he is fairly susceptible to kiting now, and despite his high damage output, he's not a very popular pick anymore because he's pretty easily counterpicked. But if you don't want to deal with a high damage bruiser or a bruiser who can build really tanky and still put out a decent amount of damage, Darius is not a character you want to deal with. And then the Hecarim ban, I like to think of Hecarim as kind of a mini Rammus. Wherever he needs to be, he's going to be there. Hecarim puts out a lot of area damage. His ultimate is incredible for initiation and group control. But the problem is he either has to itemize kind of full tank and hamstring his damage output, or he kind of has to itemize full bruiser, and then you're kind of playing a high-risk character because he kind of sits in melee, and if he can't get a lot of area damage, then he's going to pop in a second. So Hecarim's a solid mid-tier character, but again, he's kind of last-pick material. Make sure you don't get counter-picked. Or, yeah, he's not really someone you would ban. So we see a lot of unusual bans, and I'm not surprised seeing this from 2 new teams. So we're kind of seeing 2 teams kind of get into Dominion, testing the water, seeing what they can do. These aren't veteran Dominion players, but, you know, that's fine because I think we're going to see a lot of good play from them, and we can always learn something from a game no matter what skill level it is.
I was going to say, technically, from Cast and DominateDominion before, more on the purple side / Team Vengeance Zero, they have more of a semblance of the meta. I mean, Rammus not so much banned out like you said. Talon kind of sort of, at least in the NA meta, a lot more banned out than in the EU. And Kassadin's a really big one. So we do see that also reflect as well with the summoner spells, Ghosts, Revive, pretty much all the time on the purple side. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from Team Vengeance Zero. On the other hand, ExiledTerror on the blue side, they have some interesting picks. You want to just go down the list? I mean, Malphite as the last pick is really bomb, but I mean, Karma, this is kind of interesting seeing her in there, and Skarner as well.
Right, so Blue Team has picked Zed, Skarner, Akali, Karma, and Malphite. And actually, a lot of those characters are individually very strong. Malphite as a last pick I actually kind of like because they have Jarvan, Jayce, Wukong. They have 5 auto attackers on their team, and that's all AD unless they take an AP Ezreal. So that's actually a composition where picking Malphite against the enemy is really going to shine. So that was actually a very smart last pick by them. So I really like that. I'm trying to figure out who they're going to send bottom lane because they have 3 viable bottom lanes. They have Zed, who can go bottom lane, and he's very 1v1, take you out all in one punch assassin bottom lane, which is where he really shines. Because in top lane, he can still take out everybody in take out a single character in one spell combo, but he kind of runs the risk of having 3 other guys dogpile on top of him. Karma is a very strong bottom laner in certain matchups because she can kind of kite ad infinitum. So if you can't catch her, she's just going to win by attrition. And then Skarner is a very old school bottom lane pick where you go very tanky and then you just kind of walk into the creep waves and mash Q, and eventually you're going to kill more creeps than the other guy. So they have a lot of choices for bottom lane there. I'm not liking the Akali pick. Akali has seen better days, but ever since the introduction of Hextech Sweeper, her main advantage, which is the smoke bomb, which basically says, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hit you without you being able to retaliate. The Hextech Sweeper active really hamstrings that. But they've got some really strong picks. Between Malphite, Akali, and Zed, I'm seeing a lot of single target damage. They're running a double assassin composition, which really says, we're going to take your squishiest character and we're going to remove him from the fight before the fight even begins. And then we have a power play on you, and we're going to press that advantage from there on out. So that's the advantage of the double assassin composition. And on purple team, they potentially have 2 squishy characters. Jayce often is built very squishy in Dominion, as is Ezreal. So if they can capitalize on the double assassin and taking out either Ezreal or Jayce, we could see a Bruiser Jayce, so there's no guarantee of that. If they can take out Ezreal Jayce very quickly, then they can kind of press a power play advantage in every fight, which is more or less what they're going to have to be doing, because otherwise, purple team has a very, very strong team composition.
Yeah, like you were saying with the poke, they have 580 characters, but they have Ezreal, they have Jayce to poke around, you have Wukong to initiate, you have the Jarvan the 4th within the Cataclysm just initiating on top of everything. It should be some really good madness coming out from the purple team / Team Vengeance Zero. While on the other hand, ExiledTerror, like you said, bringing out some old school coming into the new school of Season 3. Will it work out? I mean, yeah, Hextech Sweeper, like you said, with Akali, that's going to be really, really hard to beat out. Skarner is nerfed after Season 2. That was just very, very detrimental to him. I mean, we'll see. And also, we only have 2 revives on the team of ExiledTerror compared to the 5 revives on Team Vengeance Zero. Again, the meta could ever so little, switch out to a different kind of meta where you don't need a revive, but, proven tests have been shown throughout all of Dominion. That revive is pretty much like your flash, pretty much a really, really, really vital thing. So we'll work it out for round number 1. Again, usually we get the newer teams in here, and this is what we're seeing from ExiledTerror versus Team Vengeance Zero. Again, it's L3RD, the bird getting some words with the one and only Yes Man Kablam for DominateDominion. If you guys can check out the facebook.com/DominateGaming. I had to change that because I didn't know they could change it to Dominate Gaming. But yeah, do check them out and get some likage. Every 1,000 likes is a $10 RP giveaway. I think that still hasn't changed. So there you go with that. And also, DominateDominion.com. Do check that out. Next week's tournament is always open for registration, so do check on that.
Yeah, seeing only 2 revives on blue team, they're already going into this game with, or I should say that purple team's going into the game with 1 leg up. Meta breaking is possible. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it succeed, but revive is just too strong. A lot of people say, a lot of inexperienced players don't realize, well, you see a 9-minute cooldown on a mode that typically takes 20 minutes, so you're saying, why am I going to take a summoner spell that you can only use twice in the match? But what a lot of people fail to realize is that revive is both flash and your home guard boots packed into a single spell. Typically in Summoner's Rift, flash is your get out of jail free card. If you mess up, then you flash and you hide behind your tower and you're safe. Doesn't work like that in Dominion because there really aren't safe zones. So what ends up happening is you mess up, you die, and you press revive, and you're speeding out of the base so the fight that you messed up in or possibly planned to die in, you press revive and you're right back in there. So it's kind of an arms race. If one team is full up on revives and the other isn't, they can afford to mess up on a fight, and then they can all press revive, and then they can force a second fight, and if they took the mastery, all the effort that went into killing them, they have to do it again, and that entire team has 200 more hit points. So that's going to be a large problem for Blue Team, and they're going to need to outplay Purple Team by a large margin if they're going to take this game.
Yep, Team VENGEance with the 5 revives. They're going to be doing some really good stuff. Well, really right quickly, I forgot about doing the whole Gander thing right quick. Reggie on the Zed, we have Lafina on that Skarner. Bright Ethereal, going to be playing the Akali Zephyr 7, going to be playing the Karma, and X-Squid going to be playing that Malphite for ExiledTerror, the team on the blue side. One half the caster crew, L30. And I would say, can you get over to the red side and introduce everybody else? Yes, man, Kablam.
We have Warlord Swain on Jarvan, Singularity on Jayce, Rap Age, I'm not going to pronounce that correctly, on Wukong, O-Bubble on Ezreal, and Reeg of Draven on Lee Sin. And this windmill fight is going to start immediately.
Yeah, it's looking like it. We do have the engage from Warlord Swain onto that flag toss, but Reggie not going to end. Going to pick up some damage onto Rapid, and Rapid's going to be able to get the first kill onto Zed. Now Zed does have the revive, but does not actually use it. Rapid's going to be taken down with the Kali, going to be able to take out on the other side. X-Squid going to be taken out, but it's already done and over with because red side has captured the windmill.
Yeah, and Karma didn't even get up to the windmill fight. That's how aggressive that red team went on them. Because of Jayce's move speed buff, they got there faster, and when they had that 3-on-3, Jarvan jumped right in, didn't even hesitate for a second, and because Purple Team's upfront damage at level 3 is so much higher, they just said, let's go, we're going to take them down, and we're not even going to wait. And they just went highly aggressive. Karma didn't get a chance to get up there, and favors are running in Purple Teams already.
Yeah, Rapid's gonna go right in again. Ethereal is gonna be the target, gonna go take a lot of bit of damage. Squid gonna tank out as much as he can, but no one's really taken down under 50% on the team with Team VENGEance on the top lane. Oh, Squid gonna be taking a little bit of damage. Exhaust gonna go down on Warlord Swain. Swain's gonna get out of there, and they're gonna reset this yet again, but everybody's so low for ExiledTerror. This is looking pretty grim for them.
Yeah, but they are right outside their base, so you can see Malphite and Akali are already back. They will be back into this fight in almost no time at all, and Red Team realizes this. They say we are pushed really far out. There's not really much point in trying to tower dive at level 5. Those towers are still going to hurt, so they're going to reassess the situation. Jarvan's going to grab the Storm Shield, and they're going to force a fight in the jungle.
Yeah, Swain gonna go right in, and Reggie's gonna be the target. He's gonna take a lot of damage. Just having popped the barrier, gonna get out of there. But now we're gonna go on to Ethereal. Ethereal gonna be taking some shots back. I cannot finish it up, and Rapid is now in a little bit of trouble. Can he get out of there? He will with the skin of the sea. Zephyr gonna be healed up as well through the heal summer skill, and it is not gonna be enough. So gonna be taken down from Warlord Swain. Ooh, great true shot barrage on the side. Gonna snipe out onto the Malphite, and Reggie gonna be taken down. It's gonna be Singularity tuning off on there. There's the Garrison used, but it was not enough, and it's still gonna be the point. And the game going a little bit towards the favor of Team VENGEance.
And you can see Ezreal already came down to gank for Skarner because they realized that getting that middle point this early is pretty difficult, so they're going to generate some pressure down at bottom. And that's going to be a neutral tower down bottom, which is going to spell bad things. When you're already pushed to your mid and your bottom's losing, you are in the hole, and you better figure out something fast. Because if you don't have time to catch up, then that's a 10-minute loss for you. So Team Blue is going to need to figure something out right now. Otherwise, this is going to fall out of their favor in no time at all.
Yeah, Singularity was actually captured down to a 3v1, but they didn't actually know where Singularity was. So Singularity got a lot of good damage on Reggie. Reggie has to go back yet again. Singularity taking a lot of bit of poke from Karma, though. So we're going to see if he can go back or he's going to go heal up. Looking at the items really quickly, a lot of mid-game items coming into play for Team VENGEance. You see all the Brutalizers coming in. Tear the Goddess still being charged up. We do see the True Shot Barrage going to miss off a line, and we're going to be on Bright Ethereal. Going to go take a lot of damage. Going to try to get in there. 1 and 2. It's actually going to be the other members of the team getting in the kills, but it's still a lot of damage coming up from the Kali. Now Reggie's going to go in, going to get taken out by Singularity, and it comes to Chase. I don't think this is the smartest idea for Team VENGEance. I think they just want to hold apart and go back.
I saw after they wiped out 2 members of Red Team, I saw Akali back off, and while she was low on health, that was a 4v2 advantage. And even with Garrison up, with that large creep wave, they really could have pressed that, and instead they kind of played it a little too cautious. I think they should have really tried to push that advantage, take the windmill, and show that, and try to inspire some fear into Red Team, because Red Team is really being quite dauntless right now with their engagements. They're kind of just pushing through the lane, not really caring that they're sitting outside of Fog of War. And they're pretty confident right now. You can tell from their play, they're just confident that any engagement that they create, they think they're going to win. So Blue Team really needs to, after that 4v2, they needed to push that advantage and not let Akali get caught out, because she's going to be most of their damage right now.
Yeah, and she has to go down from that little bit of fortuitous farming right there. But I have to agree with YMK. This is looking pretty grim, and pacing-wise, it's looking like Red Team just keeps on pushing in for the refinery, and they're going to keep on pushing in. They had a really big chance of actually losing the windmill. Unfortunately, yeah, there was no takes from that. It's played a little bit too passively. I have to agree with that as well. And we'll see if ExiledTerror can put on the aggression, put on the steam, so that we can see the metal go back right into Team Vengeance 0. 482 with the 306 on the point score. I mean, it's anyone's game, truthfully. I mean, you can come back from 10 points down and still win out this game, and that is the sweetest thing about Dominion. We do see engage yet again. We do see the knockout coming out from Wukong, and the Cataclysm going down. Oh my gosh, that damage coming in. Going to be taking down 1 from Malphite. It's going to be taking down 2 for the Akali, and barely trying to get out. Unfortunately, Karma going to be able to snipe that one down, but 3 for 1, I would take that trade any day for Team Vengeance 0.
Oh yeah, we saw a lot of that AoE damage coming down from both Jarvan and Wukong. And one thing that Blue Team's doing is that they're really not touching their bottom lane, which is a big strategy that I'm not liking, because Blue Team has to be noticing by now that every 4-on-4 engagement, or even at this point 4-on-3 engagement, they're getting toasted. So they need to stop playing Red Team's game, because Red Team knows that anytime that there's a 3-on-3, they're going to, anytime there's even numbers, they're going to win. So they need to be touching that bottom lane, ganking Lee Sin, and forcing unfair situations while they hold the mid. Because pressing for that mid, as we've seen, is a pretty difficult job. They still haven't got it yet. So while they defend mid, they need to be pressuring Lee Sin to draw off unfair fights that they can potentially win, because they're not winning the fair fights at all.
I think the other thing you have with that's a problem for ExiledTerror, they're getting poked a lot in the beginning of fights as well, so they need to do some poking to get back into it. I mean, they have the Assassins, they had the unstoppable force double kill coming into play, and this could be the take over the windmill. Warlord Stream's going to try to disable as much as he can, but cannot get it down. Great job getting in there with the Karma, and then at top of that, the unstoppable force killing in.
Right, as you mentioned, between Jayce and Ezreal, that's a lot of poke coming out. But as we just saw, the second they go all in with Malphite and Akali and Karma, things swung in their favor pretty quickly. It was a 4v3, but it was still under tower, so they took advantage of that. But they can only do that so often. I mean, Malphite's ult is on a relatively short cooldown, but they can't do it every single fight. So when their ults are down, they can't just be smashing their heads against the wall. They need to be creating situations in the jungle, like right now.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get Bright if they're all caught up, but yeah, we're going to see them back away from this. I do agree, if they can roam down, get some ganks on, and help out that Skarner push into the lane. I think they're actually going to switch out Skarner to, Ezreal and Lee Sin, and Lee Sin going to go over in the mid and top. It looked like Skarner was actually winning out that fight, so great job of the Lufina, just pressing as hard as he can over in that bottom lane with that Skarner, but yeah, hopefully we'll see that come into play, or we're going to see it again come into play yet again. Rico Draven looking to try to get something happening over in bottom lane. While again, Windmill's going to be contested. It's a 4v3 at the moment, but something happened. Ezreal rotating top lane.
And yeah, we can see Lee Sin is actually going for a fairly tanky bruiser build, which is kind of unusual. He's very much played as an AD assassin. So actually, with a bruiser Lee Sin, we're going to be seeing Skarner probably win in the long run. And
good. Sorry.
It looks like they're setting up for something in the jungle, but Blue's just going to retreat to their top point.
I mean, they have it really secure for right now, so they don't really need to do anything else, but this is actually the point that Team Vengeance 0 really wants. They're going to start out with the poke. You already got the Ezreal Q coming in with the Mystic Shot, and you already have that back cap that Jayce is coming into play with. Are they going to force this fight? This is the question that ExiledTerror has to answer. They're going to go try to go back. They're going to have two other people pressing against them. Are they going to defend the top, or is this really just Akali going to go 1v1 against the Jayce? This might be Terror.
Yeah, Akali 1v1 against the Jayce, especially without the stealth advantage, not going to work out in our favor. And we saw Red Team make the play that Blue Team should have been making a lot earlier. Blue Team showed all their cards by sitting on the top point, so Red Team knew exactly where everyone was. Jayce said, instead of trying to force that fight, I'm just going to make them come to me by backcapping the middle, which was very smart by Red Team. Blue Team didn't respond fast enough, so now they have that midpoint. They pulled Karma and Akali off, and now Malphite's in a bad position. Right under the tower, no safe zone for him. They've basically got a 3-for-0 at this point. Zed all alone up the top, and they can just close in on him and take him out if they really wanted to.
Yeah, this is what it's looking like for Rapid. Reggie is in a little bit of trouble just trying to farm up the lane, but I don't think that's the smartest idea. They still have 3 caps on for the team of Team Vision 0, so they don't really need to keep it on, but Dabble now in a little bit of trouble. ExiledTerror should be able to pick up the kill. Yes, he will with the Shadow Dashes, but we do see Reggie taking out on the other side of this one. So the windmill's going to get contested, and we're probably going to be able to take back the refinery for the team of ExiledTerror, but it's still looking pretty downhill for them. It is going to be 3 caps to 2 cap, and yet again, we'll see how this will go.
I'd really like to see Blue Team press that bottom lane, because if you've been watching the bottom lane all game, Skarner's had Lee Sin on the ropes the entire time. Skarner's pushing power is far superior. He's naturally tanky, and Lee Sin, without a whole lot of AD, really isn't going to beat Skarner in a straight-up fight. And Red Team is doing a great job of helping out Lee Sin down bottom. But if Blue Team would show up and kind of force a 2v2 or 3-on-3, that could easily swing in their favor.
Yeah, that could be a really dangerous thing. ExiledTerror going to come up inside. Jayce just smacking him down with the Hammer of Justice. Cannot take that one down too lightly, but we do take that 2-for-0 right there. And now we're going to be able to pick up the windmill maybe. Oh, the Cataclysm coming in. Going to take one more life. The True Shot Barrage coming in, but doesn't really do that much more damage. And we still have the take for the team of ExiledTerror. And I think this is all because of this pressure. Lufina is bringing it over in the bottom lane. Draven cannot just hold it down, and unfortunately Team Vengeance 0, maybe they want to switch up the lane, or maybe they want to change out somebody, but this is not working out for them at the moment.
Oh yes, Lufina Skarner is very much keeping Blue Team in the game right now. He's just out-pushing Lee Sin, and without Lee Sin's pure AD burst damage, he can't 1v1 Skarner without eventually getting out-pushed. And so Red Team's doing a great job of keeping him covered, but at the same time, that's what's giving Blue Team the advantage up top.
Yeah, I mean, pulling down one is really good. Reggie actually getting missed off by a Q blast from the Shock Blast of Jayce, and Jayce is going to push the lane with the team. Unfortunately, 3v2. Will this be enough? Zed is going to try to rush up as fast as he can. There's still be a 2v1 or 2v2 over in the bottom lane, so we have 2 places to look at. We're going to look at the windmill. Zed, we're going to be taking a lot of damage. It's going to be taken down right quickly. Again, Tilt over Hammer just doing too much damage. ExiledTerror going on their clone, and the clone juked out the juker. Baited out smarted. It was the Wukong. And now we're going to see if Rapid can keep it going. He's going to knock up Reggie. Oh, Reggie going to try to do as much damage as he can. Cannot finish up the kill.
Yeah, that was right there. Reggie really should have cut his losses, done something else, grab the Storm Shield, position up for some jungle control rather than suicide into a 3v1. I mean, the windmill fight is important. They're down by over 300 points. But, at that point, a needless death is really just putting you even further behind.
Wow, Lufina just got saved by the Karma, and Lufina, can you believe it, going out of there? I don't know how much health it was. It was probably under 100 health. Good job over there. Going to pull off everybody over in the top lane so that they can try to cap over in the bottom. X-Squid going to be taken down right quick from the windmill. Windmill going to be taken away from the team of Team Vengeance 0, and Riga Draven is going to try to delay as hard as he can. A little too close, ExiledTerror is, to the other players. So probably not going to be able to take out on the bottom yard, but they are going to do enough damage to at least bring out Riga Draven out of the zone.
And Red Team is doing a very strange job of responding to that bottom cap. That was quest point. You want to hold on to your quest point for as long as possible, because that's a damage boost and 20 points off your Nexus. And they basically left Lee Sin out to dry in a 1v2 while over-responding to top and mid. So that was a very strange response. And if Blue Team can keep forcing these bad calls out of Red Team, then there might still be a game in here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's anyone's game at the moment. For the point score that looks right now, it's not really the greatest, but still, it's there. Looking at Singularity, who's 8-3-16 at the moment, he's doing a majority of the work right now for the team of Red/Team Vengeance Zero. It's just looking so strong for him. Hopefully he'll keep up the damage, but he's been pretty much turning each and every fight to the favor of TVZ. While ExiledTerror, Lufina now going to rotate to the top lane. Will he do as much damage as he did in bottom? We'll see, but I don't know if this one's actually going to work out.
Oh, that is a very tanky Jarvan, and he just trapped them in there with a Garrison Tower. That is a lot of free DPS on his side. That's going to buy him enough time, or maybe not.
And I think Lufina pretty much tanked that the whole time, and Warlord Swain going to be taken down right quickly, but they're going to trade off right at 3L. That's a 2-for-1 at the moment. Rapid's going to come in, going to knock up Lufina. They're going to get the knock in, and the shock blast and the damage down coming up from Cultivar Hammer. Jayce, Singularity going to try to go to the skies with Squid, but Squid is going to go using the Stop of Force defensively get out there.
And there's still a party going on bottom lane, and I think blue team has figured it out, or they're ghosting the stream, to know that, you know, it really is that bottom lane where their advantage is, because red team, once they show up in that bottom lane to put on some pressure, red team is having some trouble responding to that. Red team really wants to play that 4v4 top, 1v1 bottom game, and if blue team doesn't let them have that, then they're creating some advantages for themselves.
Yeah, definitely, and we're looking at that at the moment. Although 291 to 84, it's still a little bit more pressure coming out from ExiledTerror at the last little hope to go. So hopefully Team Vengeance Zero can just squash that hope, or ExiledTerror is going to keep on riding on the Scorpion's back. I don't know if you really want to ride on the Scorpion's back, but, you know, going to keep it going for themselves. Lufina is now a little bit of World of Hurt. Fortunately knocked up, and the Jayce coming in again. Shock Blast on top of Acceleration Gate. Such an OP combo.
Yeah, with Lufina out for the count, then red team has a very strong advantage, because he was bot lane and he switched top, so he had the gold advantage, and he was by far the tankiest character on their team. Without that damage soak, red team is kind of free to do whatever they want, because with all these brutalizers or brutalizer items, you know, they are just tearing through Malphite and tearing through everyone, and this is a 3v2 situation. They do not want to be in here.
Yeah, Rapid's going to go in, get knocked up, but it was just Karma getting taken out. But again, by that Jayce. Jayce going to get double kill. Singularity, just singularly, if I can say that right, going to be able to carry out this game at the moment. Dabble going to be keeping on pushing up over in the bottom lane. Vino switching back to bottom where he should be. He's doing a good job just going to keep on going against that Lee Sin, but I'm not going to be surprised if Singularity goes bot and going to go respond to the Skarner.
And, you know, pulling that Skarner up top was a pretty good call, because blue team was just struggling so much in those team fights, and just bringing up a damage soak who is ahead in gold of everyone else was a really good call. And, you know, red team was really having trouble responding to him. And it looks like they're going to create some pressure right down here bottom where they should be, because that's exactly where their strength is right now.
Yeah, they're going to be putting out 3, but now we do the shutdown over at the top lane. We'll see what they're going to be doing with Warlord Swain. He's going to go catch her onto Ethereal. Ethereal going to be taken down right quick. Again, 2 of the skies, just damages he coming out so mentally for Singularity. Now Reggie and Lufina are going to be in a little bit of trouble. True Shot Barrage going to be able to knock out Karma for just a little bit longer to hold out that point. Lufina not going to get chased. Singularity going to try to get in for the kill. There is a random wins for a random wins, but is this going to be enough? Warlord Swain and Singularity are going to go right on Lufina, but again, Lufina really tanky, not taking enough to take away from this. Squid in the middle of the whole team. Going to get kicked out of the whole team, now going to be brought back into the whole team of Team Vengeance Zero. Now we do have Ethereal coming right back in. Oh, Cataclysm going down, and a destruction coming out from the team of Team Vengeance Zero.
Yeah, when that 4-man fight went down, that 4v1 went down in bottom lane with red team pressing 4 against 1 on Skarner, we saw Malphite and Zed kind of run to the top, probably trying to help Karma secure that windmill, but that was too late. They were too far off. Malphite and Zed really needed to help out Skarner down at that bottom point to help even out that fight, because there was no one there to contest Karma's capture of the windmill. But now she's got their mid, and I'm not really sure what's going on here, because blue team is down 3 revives, and they are controlling the map, which is kind of not what I expected right now. It seems like with how tanky Skarner is, red team is really overcommitting to trying to kill him. With 15 points left on the clock, they just need to hold a 3 cap, And to do that, all they need to do is stall out Skarner without overcommitting to actually killing him, and then just take top point. But they're really just overcommitting to the Skarner, and they're kind of giving up a lot of the map control in doing so.
Yeah, we do see Ezreal now capping over in the windmill, but we're going to see if this fight will go in the favor. Reggie going to try to go in, get some good damage. Singularity going to be the target off the Skarner pull. Unfortunately, Reggie going to be taken down. Rapid's going to be able to pick up 1-for-1 at the moment. Singularity going to be taken out from the turret. Squid going to be taken down, but now it's a 2v1 at the bottom lane. Singularity did have that GA, actually, so he's going to be revived up, and Squid going to be taken out as well.
And, you know, I think that might be the first time I will be able to honestly say that a Guardian Angel just won a Dominion game. Because without that Guardian Angel and Jayce not coming back up, that could have actually swung the power play in blue team's favor. And they could have possibly held on to this game just a little bit longer and actually won it. Or actually, it looks like Karma and Akali are going to be able to take the windmill before anyone can get up there to stop them. So it looks like we still have a game.
Yeah, at the moment it's 5-4. Is it going to be enough? Nope, it's going to neutralize, so it's 4 points left for the team of ExiledTerror. Going to hold this windmill, but it is do or die at the moment. Can ExiledTerror do anything? I don't know if that's going to be enough. Rapid's going to go in on Zephyr, going to do some little bit of damage. Reggie's going to go on. And he has the Wukong knockout come into play. Singularity going to take out one, but it's going to be traded off by X-Squid over at that one. And now we're going to see Rapid's going to be juking and baiting out. Going to be able to take out one as well off the Swain. We're going to see if Warlord Swain can take a 2v1. I don't think this is the smartest idea, so they're probably going to have to retreat from this one. And I think this is a successful hold for ExiledTerror over in this windmill until I see Singularity come into play with full health. And wow, that damage coming into play. That is just immense coming out from Team Vengeance Zero.
And at the same time, Ezreal swung down bottom so they could take out Skarner 2v1. Not an overcommitment with 4 people this time, just 2v1. And that is going to be game in favor of Red Team.
Congratulations to Team Vengeance Zero. It's 179-0, working out for that first round win. Although it was a really good game from ExiledTerror, I will have to agree. They might have had some interesting choices doing summer spells as well as the champions. So better luck to them. Hopefully they come back for the next week's matchups. It's really cool seeing new teams in Dominion. Both teams really did a really interesting exhibition of really good work. Hopefully they keep on going and keep on going strong. It's L30, the bird getting its awards with the the only Yes Ma'am Kablam. It's been a bit streaming / casting for DominateDominion, so bear with me. I'm a little bit slow on my rhetoric because I'm usually an analytical / color commentator, but I do play-by-play, and this is the only reason why I've done play-by-play. So I appreciate everybody out there in DominateDominion webs. Really quickly, that game, what do you think, what came down for that one?
You know, I will actually say I was very impressed with Blue Team. I would not have guessed that would have gone down to 180 points for Purple Team. Just looking at the picks, Blue Team had some suboptimal picks on their team, and they were down 3 revives, but they forced Purple Team down to 180 points. So they made some good plays. That Skarner was very impressive. His KDA at 154, that doesn't tell the whole story, and you know he's got some strange items. That Razor right there is a very unusual buy. But just by being extremely fat and drawing most of Red Team to him, that Skarner really generated a lot of advantage for Blue Team. And then with that double assassin being able to take out Ezreal quite a few times, Blue Team had some really good plays in there, and they were able to hold control of the map very well. Purple Team, I mean, I don't want to talk down the players, but they really muscled their way through that. You know, they had a lot. They just had damage coming out the nose. Every single character on their team did a lot of damage. That Jayce, even without the Infinity Edge, he had a Last Whisper. Typically, Dominion Jayce will build Infinity Edge for maximum damage on his W, and that will just blow everyone apart. But he was still doing a lot of damage with that, was it Warp Gate Shock Blast combo? I believe that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Or,
yeah.
Sorry, Acceleration Gate over Shock.
Acceleration Gate, yeah. The EQ combo was doing a lot of damage, and without being, every time Blue Team didn't all in on Purple Team, it just clearly went to their advantage due to that almost alone. But just because they had so much AoE damage, you know, Jayce's Shock Blast, Jarvan's Knockup plus his Cataclysm, and Wukong's, I have no idea what his ult is called, but the spin.
Second.
That is really hard to just beat due to the sheer amount of brute force. And Blue Team's performance against that, you know, taking them down to 180. I think if Blue Team, in fact, maybe switched up one of their picks and had 5 revives, that could have gone the other way.
Yeah, I do agree. The 5 revives would have changed a lot of it, but I would have to also agree that their picks really were sound to go against this whole AD comp as well. So, unfortunate to them, they are going to be losing out and going to be hopefully coming back for next week's Dominate Dominion number 64. But for Dominate Dominion number 63, round 2 going to be playing is Team Vengeance Zero, and we're going to be refocusing. We're going to be going back to a break, so we'll be right back off of this one. Again, thanks to everybody who's watching on Dominate Dominion number 6 or DominateDominion.com/twitch.tv/DominateDominion. Do check out the chat room, Dominate Dominion, to get into the Dominion action if you can. It's authority, and yes, Maam, Kablam, I'm going to be casting for you guys. Don't you worry, we'll get into round number 2 in a little bit.